Patrick Cook here. Welcome to session 34 of the Mandelbulb3D Epic Rendering. We have just arrived at a point that we've been working on for 33 sessions now. We have what I refer to as an epic rendering. Now, there's more on my screen than you can see, so let me see if I can get this thing shrunk down here where you get the full pleasure of the image. There we go. Something like that. Okay, so there we go. So you got a nice picture. Clean it up a little bit here, and let's take a close look at what we got. Beautiful. Now, this is not giving me this ImageJ presentation of the fused is not giving me the ability to pan all around. It's just a limitation of this image viewer. So I'm going to go right to saving this to disk and reopen it up in something where I can zoom in and I can pan around and we can take a close look at it. But this gives you me an opportunity to show you how to go about saving this. Now we still have, let's see, there we go, finished. This finished in 47,000 microseconds, which is what, about 47 seconds? Not bad. All right, not bad at all. All right, so we still have this ImageJ running. We need it running. And all we have right here in front of us is a rather limited view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click right on top of this this fused display, and I want to go to Control Panel, left mouse click, and I want to go down here and do a Save As. All right, I just scrolled down. I'm going to save it as a PNG. Now, while we're here, there's some pretty key things going on here. This fused display is a high-resolution image. There's a lot of bits in here, and it's going to save out to a large file. We'll see that here in a few minutes. I plan on modifying this file for quality. If I save it as a PNG, it's not going to it's going to perform some compression. PNG, if I'm going to be working with this with other software, Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, PNG is not my best option, because the PNG does do some compression by its methodology, but it supports transparency, so that's good. All right. Now, if I save it as a TIFF up here, all right, now a TIFF is going to give me the least loss of all of these pixels here, but it's going to be the hardest to work with, because you get the more higher end image editing software, Photoshop, GIMP, and a bunch of others. They understand TIFF, but it's going to be a high byte file, but it's going to be the least damage to your quality. If you're being super critical about the output of your fused, your merged image, you want to probably be TIFF. You do not want to be, in my opinion, you do not want to be JPEG. That's lossy. It's going to damage your file. Don't bother. Obviously, you're not going to save this out as an AVI, for instance, because an AVI, that's a video. The bitmap, you could do bitmap. It'll be a very high file size, but it will be minimum compression. But it's an old it's an old file storage format. If you're going to do a lossless type of an output, you're better off with TIFF rather than BMP. All right. Some of these others here, they don't make any sense. You're obviously not going to save it off as a text file. I suppose you would get a text file, but it would be all the binary bits. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save this off as a TIFF. All right. Because I want to make sure that I have the highest possible quality in my image. So I'm going to go ahead and say TIFF. All right, and I'll double click on it, and I will put it, I'll put it right up here. I'll call it fused, let's see, alien plant life. Fused, I'm just going to say V1. All right, so let's save this off as a TIFF. Okay. All right. Now, somewhere in the background, it's working. If I get my file manager up here. Nope, wrong one. I want file manager. There we go. I want this one. And I said put it up in here. All right, and there it is. Okay. Now we don't have any progress indicator here. I don't really know if it's done or not. The only way you could do is try double clicking on it, and if it opens, then you're done. If it doesn't open, then it's still writing. But you see here that I've got 355 megabytes. This is the fuse that I did earlier in the tutorial series. I did a quick demo. This is the one right here that we're currently cranking out. All right. Now, again, I don't know if this thing is done or not. It looks like it is because the file byte size is not ticking up. I'm going to come down here, and I'm also going to save it off as a PNG. So I'm going to do PN, double click. And in this case, I'm going to keep the same name, same location as a PNG. All right, so there it is. There it's coming in right here. All right, now that's obviously not final. That's only, there we go, 209,000. Okay, so here it is. So it's writing. And the reason I'm doing PNG is really for demonstration purposes, so that I don't use the TIFF and then start driving you into Photoshop and high-end stuff. I just want to have something that we can look at and display and figure out what we've got. All right. So again, I'm not really sure if that PNG is done writing. There's no visual progress here. The only way we can find out is to double click on it and see if it opens, and it does. Okay. So here is, I'm just in a standard image viewer right now. Okay. So here is our total, our final merged or fused image. Let's go back over here and get the properties on it. Let's see what we got. Details. All right, I'm 13,000 by 9,000. That's what I was going for. My 30 by 20 print only requires 9,000 by 6,000, and as I intended, let's get my Mandelbulb back up in here. Come on. There we go. All right. I had intended to have, let's get my tools, Big Render back up here. All right. I intended to have 13,000 by 9,000. All right. And that's what I got. where's my properties? Here we go. Get the properties back. Get this out of my life here. My properties, there we go. There's my 13,000 by 9,000. So I hit the target. That's what I wanted. Okay. So let's end this session right here, and when we come back, we're going to take a closer look at what we're viewing here, and we'll inspect it and see whether or not we're good to continue with our epic rendering project. Okay. All right, I'll see you in the next session.